Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is Beer Guys Radio. Better clear my throat before we got a little phlegmy there. But thanks for joining us. Sorry about that, y'all. But we appreciate you being here. We're about to go live with the show. As always, we'd love to hear your comments. Chime in what you're drinking or any thoughts you have on the stories we cover. We'd love to hear it. But with that said, we are going to rock and roll with the show. Nate, you good to go?
I'm good to go, guys.
You all
I've got
good
a beer
now?
in both hands tonight.
It is a red week here. So
It's been a week. Holy cow.
Here we go.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody, to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining us, hanging out for some craft beer and conversations. We always appreciate it very much. I am Tim Dennis. Brian Hewitt, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I think
Good.
I'm a little wired today, but I feel pretty good. So, yes.
A little
Tim.
wired. Has it
Good.
been a high caffeine day, Brian?
There are some days I'm very nerdy about how I make my coffee, so it
Right.
should be the same every time. Some days the caffeine just seems more effective. It lasts longer. It amps me up more than other days. I have no idea what that's about.
It just hits different, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it just
sometimes.
hits different.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Nate, I don't know if I want to ask you how you're doing. I know you've had a whirlwind of a week there, but how are you doing right now?
Well, they say the more beer you have, the happier you are. So for those who
All
are
right.
just listening, I do have a beer in both of my hands right now. So right now, I'm doing okay. How are you,
Nice.
Tim?
I'm good, man. I'm doing just fine. Yeah, cranking along, having a good time. We had another little cold snap, which I'm not. What, Brian? What?
I think that was a spaghetti he's got. It's not even in the show notes, but I'm like, I
No.
think he made a spaghetti. No,
No, it's not a spaghetti. This is just a regular old Miller High
It's
Life.
just a Miller.
Oh, okay.
Just
dang,
a Miller
I'm
beer.
disappointed. Okay, yeah, carry
Sorry.
on, Tim. Yeah.
Brian got excited there, Nate, and
Yeah.
then he was let down. You have
Yeah, I let him
disappointed
down.
him again. So, no, I'm doing well, man. I'm cranking along, just doing what I can here. But guys, let's jump in to our beers of the week there. We know a little bit. We got a little peek at what Nate's getting into. But Nate, I'm going to let you go first, man, since we've already got a
Wow.
preview there. What are you drinking this week?
So I didn't put it in the notes, but in my pregame, I decided that I was going to spring for a nice bottle of Miller High Life, the champagne
Okay.
of beers. It's great. It's a twist off. You can share them with your buddies. You can make spaghettis, and because they're twist offs, you can actually repackage them and just have them cold. We've done
As
that
you
in the
do.
past.
Yeah.
As you do. But to my regularly scheduled beers of the week, currently in my glass right now from Old Nation, I've got their double dry hopped M43, which has Calypso, Simcoe, Citra, and Amarillo hops. This one is really nice. It smells great. I cannot wait to try it. And then on deck, third and probably later with the patrons, I've got from Creature Comforts their Piano Keys, which is a stout that if you've been around craft beer for a little bit and have paid attention, this is a beer that came out a while back. I don't exactly remember the charity contribution that it was going towards, but this is one of those beers that has made its rounds time and again. And so in this one in particular is in collaboration with Ale Sharpton, marking his 30th anniversary as a beer icon. And it's got cocoa nibs, vanilla beans, and some chocolate added to it, and it's an imperial stout.
And that was Piano Keys, right? I don't know if you said
Piano
the name.
Keys, yep.
Yeah, Piano Keys.
It is, yep. And that is an L Sharpton collaboration he's done for a few years. I think he did it with Sierra Nevada.
I want to say he did it
didn't
originally with New Belgium the very first
with
time.
New Belgium, was
I
it?
believe
Okay,
it was New
gotcha,
Belgium the very
gotcha.
first time, yeah.
Yeah, but L's a good guy. 30 years reporting, on craft beer and that's it's a long time. I mean, we've been doing this for a little over a decade now. We know the changes we've seen in that time. So,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's a lifetime. I mean, he's probably got people that follow him that aren't as old as he's been reporting on it there. So
Yeah, the funny thing is, he doesn't look it either. I mean,
He doesn't
look like he's
no.
been doing it a day over 29 years. I mean,
yeah, I mean, if this is 30th anniversary is drinking beer, and assuming he was legal drinking age, I mean, that would make L, doing the math, at least 51, and he does not look anywhere near that. So
Not even
it's
close,
probably
no.
the beer, I'm assuming.
I think it's the
what's going
preservative
on
nature
there.
of the hops and all the beer
Yeah.
he drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Brian, what do you got this week?
So I pre-gamed with Baby Kittens from Fat Orange Cat. That's something that I had been talking with people on social media about. Somebody asked if I'd had it yet, and I said no, but I'd been looking at it, so I went and bought one. Good. New England IPA, enjoyable. It's got something interesting going on with the hops. I think it's supposed to have like a mango and a few other things going on with it. I've noticed this with hops sometimes in some beers. There is like a melon plus like a eucalyptus kind of camphorous is the word that comes to mind, but the two
Okay.
together, it's a very interesting thing going on, and it's a particular variety of hops. I'm not sure which one. Very interesting, interesting beer. Good, I liked it. But now I am working on a Hoof-Hearted $60 nachos, which when I saw that, I'm like, I have to get this beer. I like Hoof-Hearted. I don't see around very often. They're in and out, but $60 nacho seems very relevant to our circumstances. We have been complaining about how freaking expensive everything gets these days when you go out. So $60 nachos just, I don't know, seems like par for the course. But it's a New England double IPA with Citra, Simcoe, and El Dorado, and I've been sipping on it. It is very nice. It's very good. I would recommend getting it. It does not.
I'm sorry,
cost
because I
$60
know
for-
of the three of us, I'm the youngest, but whenever I hear Hoof-Hearted, it just
Yeah.
tickles that funny bone.
You know, Nate, I'll tell you this. It was probably a year that I saw the brand like mentioned online, and this happens with a lot of things these days. Like I never really said it out loud. I just read it. So I never thought about it. And then one day I think I was actually talking about one of their beers on the show. Like I had one of their beers on the show. I was like, yeah, from Hoof-Hearted Brewing. And like right then I'm like, ah, man, how did I miss this for years, literally here?
I have a friend from way back in high school that used that online for a lot of years, and I was in the same boat. I didn't know what that was, and never really thought about it. I just saw it. I saw the words, and I'm like, I didn't say it. Once you say it, you're like, you can't not notice it. And I think I realized what that was, what that was, after like dealing with the beer and putting all the pieces together. So for years, never crossed my mind, but. Anyway, great beer. Recommend getting it if you happen to see it around. I guess they come out with it every year, so quite nice. And I am also going to be post-gaming it, I guess is the way to put it, with Creature Comforts Piano Keys collaboration with Ale Sharpton, which we've already discussed at length. So
We have.
I'm looking forward to that. I have not had one yet, but I did pick up a 4-pack, and I'm like, I'm gonna support the guy. You know, he's a friend of ours. I'm gonna get some of his beers, and it's Creature Comforts. You know, it's gonna be good. So this is a no-brainer. I like go get some if you happen to see it out there, guys.
Yeah, good stuff. You can't argue with that, man. Absolutely. Well, Brian, diving into the stories, Olympic scandals, Brian, Olympic scandals, and not the fun kind around curling, but this time involving the FBI.
Yeah, I know. It's just getting dangerous here. So in case you haven't been watching the Olympics, the U.S. men's hockey team took gold, and that led to some surprising beer-related drama. It turns out FBI Director Kash Patel was there watching the game. There's pictures of him in the stands. And he was invited to the locker room to celebrate with the team, and celebrate he did. There's video of him chugging beer, jumping up and down, spraying the beer all over the place, and singing along with the team. So this might surprise you, but there are politicians who were disappointed with this display of celebration, and they had things to say about it. Yes, politicians with things to say. Seriously, I know that's hard to believe. So he's being accused of using taxpayer dollars to attend the Olympics, which includes allegedly using an FBI Gulfstream jet for the trip, and there are allegations that it isn't an isolated trip either. Apparently he's gone on a number of trips that have involved the use of an FBI jet. But on the other hand, I looked into this further beyond the story that I saw, and according to CNN, there's a government regulation that's been in place since 2011 that requires the FBI director to use government aircraft for all travel, including personal trips. And the reason for that is that the president and other top officials must always have secure communications available with the FBI director. So Kash Patel may not have had much of a choice in this situation, but the optics aren't great. And in the past, he has also complained about other FBI directors doing the same thing and saying the same things that people are saying against him. So a little bit of maybe hypocrisy or something happening here.
Yeah.
Anyway, according to Reuters, an FBI spokesperson said that Kash Patel was in Italy on official business and would reimburse the government for any personal use of FBI resources. We shall see. To back it up, Patel posted pictures of himself meeting with foreign officials and U.S. personnel who were also handling security at the Olympics. So I guess it's technically official. So nobody's going to jail or getting fired over this, is what I'm guessing. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's I mean, come on. We know that no one in this administration is going to face legal consequences for
Unlikely.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
They never do.
no, but I know the I'm not like a Kash Patel fanboy or anything, or sympathizer either way in that, but making a lot of assumptions here, which is not necessarily a great thing to do with the government. But if the guy was there on here, let me make this in a broader statement. A lot of times people get upset because a politician or somebody does something celebratory when they think they should be doing something else. And I mean, people live their lives. And if I was Kash Patel or anybody else who happened to be in Italy and the U.S. hockey team happened to win a gold medal and I happened to get an invitation into the locker room and I happened to get a chance to crack a beer with them, I'm going to do it, man.
Of course.
And that's just it. So, we're looking at a snapshot there. They talk about like our lives today. We're compared against curated lives of people. We saw one picture of one thing he was doing there. And unless there's some evidence, we got enough stuff going on right now that unless there's evidence that he just joyrode himself to Italy to party with a hockey team, let the guy crack a beer with the USA hockey team. So
if he was really... If the point of the trip really was that he was there for other reasons and it just coincided with that, okay, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time we won a gold medal in 46 years.
Sure.
It's a pretty monumentous occasion.
That I didn't realize. Has it been that long? Okay.
Well,
all right.
in hockey,
for hockey.
sorry. In
for
men's hockey, yeah.
The last time was the Miracle on Ice, Brian, 1980 against the Russians.
I heard about that. Didn't we beat the Canadians to,
We did.
For this one?
Yeah, for this one.
Yes,
yeah.
for this one we
Okay,
did.
That's what I thought. I know that was kind of a big deal, and I know people were talking about it. I didn't watch it, I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big hockey person, but I was pretty sure that was what happened. I'm like, hooray for us. That's quite the accomplishment. Good job, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, Tyler said he's celebrating America winning. He's like, how about we stop being such Karens and just be happy that we won a gold? Again, man, if we're looking at even if it's an hour, I mean, I'm sure he didn't run in there, grab a beer and then leave. But, people have lives outside of their jobs, even politicians. So
the way he looked in that video, he'd been there probably for a while and probably wasn't.
They didn't catch him the first beer.
No, I think
right?
they weren't. I don't think he was going anywhere anytime soon either. So I'm sure
like
that
I
was
said,
a good night.
I'm taking a lot of stuff at face value here and making a lot of assumptions to say this, but I'm saying based on one snapshot of a picture, we shouldn't lose it over that, but who knows? Well, Brian, moving on with one of our favorite companies in the world, Tilray, and because they own so many of our favorite local breweries from back in the day. But some big news, and this actually looks like it could be good for Tilray as a company, and hopefully will extend to many of the breweries they own there. But they've actually entered a licensing deal with Carlsberg to brew and distribute some of their beers.
Yeah, that's right. Tilray has entered into a 5-year agreement with Carlsberg Group to handle the production, marketing, distribution, I guess that's just it. I don't think there's anything beyond that, of Carlsberg's portfolio in the United States. And like you said, it's kind of a big deal. That's all of it. The initial focus of the deal is on 4 specific brands: Carlsberg Elephant, Kronenbourg 1664, and Kronenbourg 1664 Blanc. And for whatever reason, I looked into what the Blanc was all about. So apparently Kronenbourg 1664 Blanc is Carlsberg's answer to Blue Moon and Hoegaarden. So if you're a fan of those, you like that, that's what you can get from Carlsberg. Anyway, the partnership kicks off on January 1st of 2027, and if things go well, that Tilray hits their performance goals that have been set up in the deal, there will be an automatic 5-year extension. So that means this is 10 years maybe for Tilray. And The deal also marks Carlsberg's move from just exporting beer into the U.S. to actually producing it here locally at Tilray's facilities on both coasts. So they're planning on doing it at least a couple of places are going to be used for this. Tilray is going to use the deal to fill their 1 million barrel capacity that they have. They've had trouble filling that lately and have recently closed several smaller breweries to cut costs as a result. While Tilray is the 4th largest craft brewery by the Brewers Association standards, its production volume also saw a 13% decline in, I believe it was 2024. So they still went up. Even with that decline, they actually moved up 1 spot in the rankings. So they're pretty big. So I was going to say, what do you think? Is this a good thing? It sounds like you think it's a pretty good thing, Tim.
On the surface, it sounds pretty good, man. I mean, they're going to be producing beer, and that we know now. I don't think any of us are fans of any of those brands, and it's not any of our regular beers, but I am curious how it will be received by the people that drink those beers, if they will produce them to the standards of the people drinking them. But I think on the surface, it sounds like a good deal. I know those are big brands, so they're going to be brewing, if they're doing it all, they're going to be brewing a lot of beer. And I think that is good for keeping breweries open, keeping people working there, which is the thing that I care about. All these breweries they bought up, they can use that extra capacity to brew these, and that means someone gets to keep their job. So I'm down with that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Nate. Sorry,
I was going to say, Tim, honestly, you said all the same things that I was going to say. At the face value of this, it looks like it's going to be a good deal. It benefits Carlsberg to have fresh product made domestically instead of it being made, elsewhere and then imported in. If it fills out Tilray's 1 million barrel capacity, then it means that less smaller breweries get shut down. And who knows, maybe this is just another way for, like you said, Brian, having a Carlsberg tap at Sweetwater Tap Room, which would be kind of neat.
Have you ever had Carlsberg?
Not on draft, but I've had it in package. Yeah.
Okay, so you have had it. You've had it, right, Tim?
I don't consciously remember ever having one. I wouldn't doubt that I have before, but now here's the thing, though. There's a lot of brands that are owned by Tilray that we have not seen on tap at Sweetwater, so I don't think it's very likely we'll see a Carlsberg tap there. But there's other brands I sure would like to see them tap. It'd be cool to go in there and just be able to get everything in the Tilray portfolio, but that's not happening.
For a while we had, was it Green Flash or Alpine? Some of
Alpine,
those.
Green Flash. Yep,
Love
had some
seeing
of those.
that. I'm still waiting for Widmer, which I believe they bought. It was Widmer that they bought, and yeah, I would like to see that. There was one other aspect to this that's it's being tossed around. It's like Carlsberg has a little bit of a prestige because it's an import. It's not because it's an amazing beer or anything like that. It's an import, so it gets a little extra flashiness for that. If they start brewing it locally, I don't know if it still gets the same kind of import attention that it used to get. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I think that there has been issues. I don't remember if it was Guinness or Heineken or one of those. But there was someone that I think, much like our boneless chicken wing thing last week,
Yes.
I think there was someone that filed a suit over that. And they look, I was led to believe I was drinking an imported beer, and it's this stuff's brewed in Detroit or whatever. So I think that's because I do think there are certain people that choose it because of the prestige that an import brand carries there. If Heineken was a beer, made by any American brewer and just thrown out there, would people care, that it was, was what it was? But Heineken's an imported beer, that always has some prestige to it. So who knows, man? Who knows? I'm curious to see if there's any uproar from the passionate fan base if or when they find out that it is now brewed in America.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they're a big sponsor of various soccer, aka football teams. So
yeah,
there's going to be some people who have a tie to them for that reason as well. So I hope it says the cans or bottles imported from Atlanta.
Where's Carlsberg? Where are they out of?
I thought they were German. I actually
thought German too.
don't
Is it
Maybe
know
German?
for a
Belgium.
fact.
Yeah, that's something that that I am not sure of. Like I know they're not American. So
Well,
let me
Heineken's
see.
is Dutch, right?
Danish.
Danish.
There, yeah,
Yeah.
from the Denmark. That's where Carlsberg's from. All right.
That's right.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Good stuff. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. O'Brien, Mississippi has got a problem, apparently due to mismanagement of the ABC board there. And that's a slight sidetrack, Brian. Years and years and years ago, I worked for an inventory company. And, Mississippi has a state ABC, it's state run, distribution that they do there. And one time I had to inventory the entire warehouse for all liquor in the state of Mississippi.
Wow.
So it was just, you go, it was impressive to go in there and to see, gosh, I don't know, 100 pallets of like Jack Daniels or something like that. Just, I'm like, wow, that is a lot of Jack Daniels. But anyhow, I digress, Brian.
Tim's
but,
like, one for me, one for the state. One for me, one for the state.
Yeah. But apparently there's trouble at the ABC and Mississippi bars are running dry because of it.
Yeah, so the Mississippi Alcohol Beverage Control, aka the ABC, if you didn't know what that means, it's facing a massive inventory backlog. So the crisis stems from a tech mismatch in the new $55 million warehouse that they apparently have constructed. Apparently, the software system running the conveyor belts is not compatible with the existing machinery that they have. As a result, they were forced to use they're using a slower packaging system. I don't know if it's the conveyor belts that actually just move slower or just have lower capacity, but anyway, it's drastically reducing their output. Businesses in Mississippi are missing out on deliveries that in some cases amount to hundreds of thousands of dollars in inventory. Like, this is huge money that they're not able to make and sell, And because Mississippi is one of 17 states that rely on a government-run liquor authority to supply all the alcohol for the state, businesses don't have another option. They can't go get what they need from another place, not legally anyway. But legislators are considering emergency measures like direct shipping or self-pickup as a way to deal with this. I mean, it does seem like now would be a good time to consider abandoning that government-run alcohol monopoly, but that may be a little too radical for Mississippi. I'm guessing that won't fly. The current estimates say that the warehouse will work through half of the backlog by March, so the half-life is until March, and they will work through the rest of the backlog by May. So enjoy your dry spring, Mississippi, brought to you by the Mississippi ABC. It's good for you.
Now, there's got to be a reason here, but I've got to ask this question. Why don't they just fix the software? Was that mentioned? Was there what is the issue with that?
It's a third party provider. There's some vendor. So I'm not 100% sure they didn't get into details about that. Obviously, they're not using AI because you could just rewrite the software in AI these days and just have it work.
Yeah.
I'm only slightly kidding.
Half
but,
joking, half
yeah.
jokes, half jokes.
I have done some of that kind of work myself.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of it in the past couple of weeks. But they didn't say. It's not clear to me if the vendor screwed up and supplied the wrong software or made upgrades, downgrades, side grades, or whatever that didn't match what was there. But something happened where things didn't line up, and it looks like from the sound of it, the software company is not changing things. It's not. Maybe they're actively working on an upgrade, but that wasn't said. Like, it just sounds like, hey, if we're gonna get this actually to work, we have to get this older, crappier, slower equipment and run things through it. So maybe the software company is working on an upgrade that will support the machinery they actually need to use. I don't know. And
because it just seems like fixing the problem would be the solution, but
correct.
But yeah. I'm not a Mississippi Liquor Board director or manager there, so I don't know.
Yeah, I write code, and I'm not at all going to protect the people writing the code because I know how it can go. So I don't know anything about the people writing the code. It could actually just be these guys aren't competent. They just screwed up. I don't know. It could have been outsourced to who knows where. I have no idea. So yeah,
but that still doesn't change the fix it part of it.
It doesn't.
Hey, it's not working. Fix it. So
yes.
All right. Yeah.
I have no idea why. I have no idea why they don't do that. That's some internal issue they need to work out.
Yeah. Well, Brian, before we move along, how about we give a shout out to our good friends at Truck and Tap?
That sounds like a great idea. So, do you want to know how quickly the year is going by? In just 2 weeks, Truck and Tap is throwing their St. Patrick's Day party. That's right, 2 weeks from now on Saturday, March 14th. 2 weeks from now is Saturday, March 14th, the middle of March. And next weekend ushers in the beginning of daylight savings time, I believe, if I've done my math correctly. So, yeah, we've nearly made it to spring already. And that means better weather is on the way, but also pollen. And I don't know how to feel about any of that, so I'm just going to have a beer. And what beer shall I have? Well, let's find out in my Truck and Tap beer picks for the week. At Truck and Tap Woodstock, I'm going with Round Trip's Nice and Easy IPA. It's not just any old IPA, it's a cold IPA. Do you guys remember when everyone was dropping a cold IPA a year or two ago? Well, Pepperidge Farm remembers, Tim.
Good for them, man.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
also recall.
Yeah. Anyway, Round Trip does such a great job with traditional German lagers. I'm betting this lagered IPA, hopped with Chinook, Centennial, and Mandarina Bavaria, will be great. I like when they stretch their stuff into IPA territory. I think they do a pretty good job there. At the Duluth location, I'm getting Dubai Chocolate Bar Stout from Untitled Art. I haven't had this one yet, but I know Untitled Art just kills it with pastry stouts, and I'm a fan of the Dubai chocolate that's so popular these days. And if you don't know what that is, maybe some of the people listening don't, just imagine a chocolate bar filled with like a crunchy wafer-like pistachio filling. It's really good if you like pistachios and chocolate. So this is probably going to be great. You have to try that. At Truck and Tap Alpharetta. Oh, were you going to say something?
It is really great. I've had it before.
Oh, you've had the beer before. I need to pick one of these up. I think I've seen it dropping other places around, but yes, at Truck and Tap Alpharetta, my pick is Goodword's Dreaming of Ghosts on the side pull tap. Love the side pull tap. Dreaming of Ghosts is a West Coast style pilsner, dry hopped with Motueka. Oh, it's just hopped. Yeah, sorry, not dry hopped. Hopped with Motueka and Rakau hops, with an easy drinking ABV of 4.9%. What's not to love about this? It's going to be great. And finally, at the Lawrenceville location, I'm going with Three Taverns Lord Grey. Lord Grey is such a unique beer. I just have to have one whenever I see it. It's a kettle sour with Earl Grey tea and lemon, and it tastes like lavender and bergamot. And if that doesn't immediately sound good, you need to get a taster of this because I think you'll be surprised by it. And there you have my beer picks for the week. Get out there and have a beer or two. As always, if you'd like to see the full tap list before stopping by, take a look at truckandtap.com. The taps do change quickly. You never know what great new beer might go on and which of these might disappear. And if you'd like to see what the food trucks are serving and what events are happening, the trivia, the karaoke, the live music, the St. Patrick's Day parties, that kind of thing, drink specials, bourbon specials, you can also find that at truckandtap.com. Everything you need to know can be found at truckandtap.com, so check that out, and thank you to Truck and Tap for your support.
Thank you, Truck and Tap. We appreciate it. Brian, some news to share before we move on here. So we've talked about it before several times about the American Craft Beer Hall of Fame. And they are about coming up. They are going to have their induction ceremony for 2026. That's going to be on the 28th. That's, I believe, Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 28th. That's when this show will be launched. They're going to be doing viewing parties at a few locations around the country. Here in Atlanta, Round Trip Brewing is a local watch party location. They'll be live streaming the event, the induction ceremony, that starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I know here at Round Trip, they're starting the party at 2 p.m. there. And they're going to be hanging out. $1 from each beer sold is going to go to support the Hall of Fame. That's for Round Trip. But if you're in other areas, take a look at the, the Hall of Fame's website and see if you've got a local location. You can hang out with other beer fans and see the induction ceremony. But some big names, I think we've mentioned them in the past, Brian, who the nominees are this year. But we've got Charlie Bamforth, Larry Bell, Sam Calagione, Ray Daniels, Terry Ferendorf, and I hope that I said that correct because that's not a name I'm familiar with there. We have Kim Jordan, Garrett Oliver, Pete Schlossberg, Mitch Still, and Carol Stout are the nominees for this year. So
Mitch Steele, nice, very nice.
Yeah. So
cool.
It'll be very cool. I wonder if Mitch will be at our local watch party here. So if he gets inducted, we're right there. Right there. We can cheers with him. But very cool to see some folks getting together and honoring American craft beer, man, and the people that made it great. So see if you got a local watch party. If not, it is going to be streamed online again, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you want to drop in, I'm sure it'll be on YouTube, Facebook, the various channels there to check it out.
Very cool.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, Brian, moving along from that, we've got, we're going from Mississippi all the way over to Russia.
Yes.
And we've been talking about import beers and all that. We know the crazy stuff that's been going on in Russia the last few years. We know a lot of American companies pulled out of there, but it's actually to the point that import beers are nearly extinct in Russia.
Yeah, this kind of surprised me. I saw this on the drinksbusiness.com website, and I'm like, what's going on there? I'm like, I knew there was embargoes and such, but yeah, according to the Drinks Business, imported beer is on the verge of disappearing in Russian retail, and it may only make up like a tiny fraction of the beer market by the end of the year, like 3% or less. Like, that's how crazy it is. Shipments from the European Union to Russia have plummeted to levels not seen in like a decade. Most of the beers that's still making it is coming from the Czech Republic, Poland, and Latvia. But here's the thing. It's not because of the Ukraine war and related embargoes and things like that. It's tariffs doing it, which is kind of unexpected. It's not embargoes, it's tariffs. The U.S. isn't the only one throwing around tariffs these days. Russia has put a massive tax hike on beers from so-called unfriendly countries, ranging anywhere from like a euro to 1.5 euros per liter, which gets really expensive for beer. Before the tariffs, like most of the alcohol products they had before the war were still making it into Russia by way of the gray market. Like, you'd sell it, and you couldn't really control what the people did that would then resell it to somebody else, and it'd wind up getting back into Russia. But yeah, that's not working anymore. At the same time, Russia is still fighting AB InBev's sale of their stake of some amount of a business in the Russian beer market. So while they're punishing people, they're still screwing with AB InBev and trying to keep them from being able to, disconnect from Russia. So as far as I can tell, that's still not done. That's been going on for years. And they're also aggressively exporting their own beer into neighboring ally countries and China. So it's weird. I'm like, it's just kind of an interesting insight at how Russia's working right now. But yeah, nuts.
Russian beer in China, huh? That would be would be something. I wonder if Chinese beer goes to, maybe you can go to Moscow and get you a nice cold snow.
I'll bet you can. Because I think they're pretty tight. I bet you can definitely get snow there.
Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Well, Brian, speaking of tariffs, big stuff, all kinds of changes going on. We can't keep up. It's illegal. It's not illegal. Here's new ones. Here's this. Here's that. I just have no idea. But we do have a little bit of info here on the impact on beer through 2025. And a little spoiler, it's not as bad as wine.
Yeah, wine. Oof. So, yeah, speaking of tariffs, we have some idea finally. We've been wondering what it's going to look like, what the impact has been on just the alcohol markets across the board. U.S. wine and beer exports were kind of grouped together in this article I'm looking at, and they dropped by a staggering $472 million in 2025, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. That's a 26% decline compared to the previous year. Wine took the biggest hit. It saw a 35.5% loss and accounted for $428 million of the total export decline. So $428 million of the $472 million. That means beer only accounted for $44 million of that total, which is a much smaller number than I expected. I guess that wine is a much more heavily exported alcoholic beverage than I guess beer is. That's what we're seeing. But spirits and other non-wine alcoholic beverages also struggled. They saw a $215 million decrease in exports. Experts are, of course, blaming these export losses on reciprocal tariffs announced back in April, which led to international boycotts of American products. So it wasn't just the tariffs, it's the boycotts they inspired on the receiving end of them. Although the Supreme Court recently struck down these tariffs, the president immediately announced a new 10 to 15% global tariff, which means we're not likely to see export numbers improve anytime soon, and we're not likely to see those export or boycotts on our products disappear. So I have no idea where exactly all that is in the legalities of it. It sounds to me like I think the tariffs are even some amount of tariff is still in effect, even though they've been struck down, and I don't know where things are going to wind up. It kind of sounds like eventually these tariffs are going away, but I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I don't
how
know.
soon.
I followed it as closely as I can. One thing I looked into, Brian, because you and I do order things from other countries occasionally, and there used to be a de minimis exemption that I think it was $800. Anything you bought under $800, like a personal purchase, was exempt from tariffs, and that went away. So a lot of people were hopeful that with these being struck down, that the de minimis would come back. It's not. So that is one factor there. Everything you purchase is going to be subject to tariffs. And Trump was very quick to say, as soon as they announced that they were illegal, that he already had another means to enact it. But one thing I did see, the method that he's using right now to add this 10 to 15% is limited. Like, it only can last for up to 150 days, but it does sound like by the time they get that to that 150 days, there are some other things that can be done. So he wants to keep the tariffs there, and he's definitely going to do every damn thing he can to make sure they're in place.
It does seem like a stopgap from what you're saying. Like, we can't get the stuff together to do this other thing, but we can put this temporary thing in to ensure that this doesn't go away. But they got rid of the de minimis and they replaced it with de maximis, Tim.
Yeah, they did. 10 to 15% is de maximus that they can charge.
That's right.
At this time. So crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Well, Gen Z, Brian, the Gen Z drinking habits, I just don't know what to say about it. We've got a town here, Kennesaw, which is a neighboring town to my town, and they're looking to put a brewery in downtown Kennesaw. And there was a long article written basically saying, I will say this, it wasn't a snarky article. A lot of times when you see someone speaking out against something, they've taken a pretty firm stance with things. Like they've got a cause they're fighting for. This article did seem to be an honest, hey guys, is this the best place for us to spend our money? Because apparently some of the tax money is going to be used to help to fund that, to draw the business in. And so along with the written article with some good points, I'll give it that, may not agree with it, but was well written. But there was an infographic talking about the spending by generation. And of course, it's like, boomers, Gen X, millennials, they're all up here. I forget the number. Let's call it 30 billion a year or whatever. And they're all, fairly close to each other. But then you get to Gen Z and it's like 4 billion or whatever. And so I'm like, how old is Gen Z? I was like, aren't some of them like not old enough to drink? So it's like half of Gen Z right now is not old enough to drink. So it's not really, how much can we really put on them as to what they're drinking? Because a lot of them are just becoming drinking age right now. So,
I'm looking at the chart. It looks like boomers still are kings right there. Money spent on alcohol by generation, $25 billion for boomers, $23.1 billion for Gen X, and millennials still have us beat with $23.4 billion.
All right, there we go.
Gen Z, $3.1 billion.
Right. So but let's let them all become of age and let's let them deal with life a little bit more and see how much they drink. Then we'll see where it comes out. But also, kind of on the flip side of that coin, Brian, you and I were at our cheese shop last weekend. Shout out to Capella Cheese, wonderful cheesemonger there. But there was a younger guy working behind the counter there, and he mentioned that a lot of his friends truly do not have any interest in drinking. That it's just, with his generation, they're just not about it. He also mentioned that some of his friends were, I've heard this term before. I don't know if I've said it before, but California sober, that is a popular one. So, all the talk about legal marijuana and more ready access to it is impacting it. There are some that are definitely choosing that for their relaxation and unwinding there. So that is having an impact. So it will be interesting to see where all that goes. But Brian, to your story there, outside of not drinking much, apparently they don't like toasts either.
Yeah.
And not like assorted, crispy bread, warm bread. You're talking a little cheers there.
I think they do like avocado toast still, but
they do.
Yes. Yeah. So different kind of toast. Yes. Another tale from Planet Gen Z. This was another one I picked up from VinePair. So I had some really good articles on various topics this week. This week we've learned that toasting has become uncool, cringe, and apparently even startling for members of Gen Z. Seriously, startling. That was how it was described. I know Tim's immediately shrugging, like, "What in the heck? Like, how is this possible?"
You've seen the Obama gif where he makes the face and twists the hand. That's what I just did. So
yeah. So I am talking about, in case you're not getting the picture mentally here, I'm talking about the practice of clinking glasses together and saying cheers. It's a thing that a lot of us do when you get a round of drinks without even thinking about it. It's like you got a beer, especially the first drink of the night. It's like, cheers, guys. It's fun to hang out, and it's just kind of a fun little custom. Well, apparently the disdain for the custom with Gen Z comes from the association with millennials. So this is them fighting back against millennials. At least they're not taking it out on Gen X for some, this time, and social media trends like the Instagram boomerang toast that I don't know if you guys saw this. The thinking is that the traditional cheers started to feel performative and dated as a result of its heavy use in these boomerang Instagram posts. And I'm with Gen Z here. I hated those boomerang videos, those endlessly looping, things of toast, and then it goes back and it goes back again. You know what I mean? It was like 2 or 3
I
seconds.
do remember the boomerang. Yeah.
Do you remember me complaining about it? How much I hated them? Because I hated them from the moment they came out.
You hate a lot of things about like online social media and that.
True.
So I
Social
don't
media in
remember
general.
that specific. So
Oh, I hated the boomerang stuff. It was so annoying. It's something about it was really unsettling. Anyway, very popular a decade or so ago. Anyway, with no sense of irony, though, Gen Z is also responsible for the 2022 TikTok trend of toasting with food. For crying out loud.
Okay.
Which is thoroughly ridiculous and a little gross, and should be near the top of the list of things that Gen Z looks back on with embarrassment once they reach middle age. So, did you guys ever toast with food? And if you did, what is wrong with you?
No.
No.
But
Okay,
I've
good.
seen
Of course
that
not.
people. So I like to watch various cooking and food shows on YouTube and that, and very frequently, I mean, I saw some guys eating the dinosaur ribs, the big beef ribs, the other day, and they toasted ribs. I've seen guys toasting pieces of pizza, and with toast your food.
The most unsettling thing I ever saw was guys with cutting a piece of steak on their fork to eat and toasting with the fork with the steak on it. I'm like, that is what? Why are you doing that? So, yeah, I've never
people
liked
say
that.
people say age is like a state of mind, and I will say in this state of mind, I've never felt older. What is up
Yeah.
with people wanting to toast like a bit of steak on their fork or their pizza,
Handful of
their
mashed
cannolis,
potatoes.
or whatever? Yeah, just stop. Hey, just put the fork down, reconsider your entire life's choices, and stop.
Take a
Yeah.
deep breath. And you know what? I'm a little sad that toasting, that cheersing is not in fashion for them, because it's celebratory is
Yeah.
the thing. Like anytime you're like, hey, cheers, it's you're in a good mood, man. Cheers. Something good has happened, or even if that something good is just the fact that you're at a bar with friends having a beer or whatever. It is a celebratory moment.
And it's steeped in a lot of history. The article went deep into the history and where it originated. It's like hundreds of years ago. This has been around. It's been a long thing. It is going to outlast Gen Z without a question. The author of the article said that they felt weird about it now that they knew some other people felt weird about it, but they were going to continue doing it. I don't care. And I'm going to start doing it now with relish. And I'm like, I know some people will find this unsettling.
You mean like chopped pickles?
What's that? Chopped pickles?
You said you're going to do it with relish.
Oh, yeah. I see what you did there. Yes, if there's relish available. If not, I'm going to do it with enthusiasm and joy, Tim.
Yeah.
But also possibly with relish in case I have a hot dog. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy doing it, knowing that people might find it unsettling.
Now, there's another trend going around that, have you guys seen this, of I think it's a 15-kilogram beer mug, the big metal
I saw something
or
like that.
beer mug or that.
Work
So,
out to drink a beer.
yeah. What does 15 kilograms translate to? Is that like $7 or something? I don't know. I don't know. the
23
exact-
euro.
Yeah.
You know,
Let me see. I can find it. Oh, okay. It's a little heavier than I thought then. So apparently 15 kilograms. I was doing my math the wrong way. It's like a 2.6 or something multiplier there. 2.2. So 15 kilograms is 33 pounds. So it's this big metal mug. And the challenge is you have to pick it up with one hand. It cannot be sat back down and drink the whole beer without spilling any. So you got to be able to pick up a 33-pound. It's essentially a dumbbell, just an oddly shaped dumbbell, and drink the beer. And I know here locally, Schoolhouse has one of those, and that's their challenge there is to drink one. So, and I've seen some, because and again, 15 kilograms doesn't sound like much, but 33 pounds does sound like a little bit more. And I saw the some of their videos, some of their TikTok videos, and it's like these guys, pretty beefy guys, really fighting to get that mug up there. I'm like, man, that can't be that hard. But yeah, all right. Oh, one hand. Once you get a grip on, you can't use two hands on the grip, all that. So there's some rules there, but yeah.
Well, think about this. People do stein holding with just glass steins and beer. Like, that's no weight in it, and it's a matter of, now they can hold it a lot longer, but anything held for long enough is going to get super heavy. And you know what? This explains a lot. I was scrolling through social media somewhere, and I didn't listen to the audio. I saw somebody like struggling with a large mug with one hand, like shaking, trying to drink it, and I'm like, what on earth is that? And then I said, I don't care enough to find out. So I flipped past it because I thought it was just somebody being stupid. Like I thought it was one person being stupid online.
No, it's group
Turns
stupidity,
out it's many
Brian.
people being stupid online. And I should have been paying attention. So that explains what I saw there. So sorry to the person that I did not care enough to watch their entire video struggle to drink a beer. Yeah.
Crazy stuff. So I'm curious. I would like to try it just to see how heavy it is. I'm imagining, based on the people I've seen not be able to do it, because what I was thinking is, man, that'd be fun to cheers with, like just clanking two dumbbells together and chugging your beer. That would be fun, man.
Try splitting the G with that thing and not chipping a tooth.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, Brian, this is breaking news. This has to be sad news for our friend Todd at Good Word Brewing, because he's a fan. But Brian, beer adjacent news here. We may be running out of Topo Chico.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a hard running out too. If you're having trouble getting your hands on Topo Chico lately, the carbonated water, there's a reason for that. The glass bottled mineral water is currently unavailable in the U.S. due to geological issues at the source wells in Mexico. And yeah, this doesn't have anything to do with tariffs at all, apparently. It's not at all related to that. Fans may have to wait until the second half of the year for a restock of the mineral water to make its way back to store shelves. Coca-Cola, the owner of the brand, is pausing production to invest in the water source to ensure future supply and quality. I kind of looked into this, and I have no idea what's actually wrong with the source. But they're saying quality makes me wonder if some chemicals or something were leaching into or found in the well, or something happened. Like there's some issue there, unspecified what it is. But on the other hand, if you're a fan of the alcoholic line of Topo Chico, you're in luck. The hard seltzers and canned cocktails produced by Molson Coors are not affected by the shortage. Not only that, new higher ABV versions of these beverages are they're hitting the market. So I have no idea where they're getting the water for those, but apparently it's not a fancy aquifer from Mexico. It's probably some,
I guess not, man.
Maybe it's a tap in
Once
Detroit.
again, you have to drink alcohol because the water isn't safe. So
that's right.
It happens, man.
And also, we are sending our thoughts and prayers out to Todd at Good Word during these difficult times.
Don't make it.
We know
this
is going to be hard on him. Yeah,
it is, man. Yeah. It is. Well, guys, that wraps it up. A little shorter show this week. We'll give you a little bit of time back to drink some beer. But thanks, as always, for tuning into the show. We do greatly appreciate it. if you enjoy what we're doing here, we would love it if you would tell your friends to tune into the show, check us out, share us on social media, just get the word out there. If you really enjoy what we're doing, then please do go to patreon.com/beer guys. Your support helps us with stuff like hosting and cameras. And we actually don't spend it on beer. We might, maybe sometimes, but mostly just keep the show running. And we always appreciate that. We will get you into our Discord chat, private Patreon Discord chat. We'll send you some cool swag and you'll get a little slightly early access to all the shows. So we would definitely appreciate it if you would consider that. But with all that said, we do hope that you have a really, really good week. And don't forget to drink local. Cheers. Clear.
I missed part of the thread, but was Sean talking about table beers making a comeback? Because I love that idea.
Table beers, man.
Iroquois Nation.
Iroquois. I like
Iroquois
table
Nation.
beers. Yeah.
Good.
You know, it's funny saying that because we mentioned Todd at Good Word Brewing. When Good Word was conceptual, they talked about doing a table beer that basically they just drop a bottle on every table. Like they do a low ABV beer that was kind of the equivalent of like, what's the wine that's common at Italian joints?
A Chianti or something like that, right?
Yeah. But anyhow, and I was so excited. I'm like, man, that would be so great to go in and just have some table beer to sip on there. But they didn't. I guess it wasn't feasible there.
I think they realized that not enough people would drink it, and they would have to contend with the fact
Yeah,
is it
there'd
free?
be factors
Do we add it
there.
on top of this stuff?
Yeah.
I think it would be amazing. Just
I
a
would
pitcher,
love it. I would
pitcher
love
of
it.
beer, like, here you go, here's your table beer. Yeah.
Well,
Would've been
and talking
great.
about like it being in pockets, not Goodword, Old Monk in downtown Atlanta regularly has table beer on their menu,
Yeah.
and even like Creature Comforts Grisette, like that could potentially be
It's good, man.
considered a
I
table
do
beer.
have a bottle of that. I think it is called
Little
isn't it called
Petite
table
Prince,
beer?
little
Le
little-
Petit Prince, yeah.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Jester, yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap up the live stream again. If you are a Patreon supporter, we are going to drop a link in the Discord chat for you to join us for the after party. But y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week.